Hey guys, welcome! Today I'll be playing the Nightglows event story that has just recently been translated for the current reprint. So, let us do this. So, I didn't get a chance to warm up most of the voices, or any of the voices actually. My bad. We'll just have to see how well I can improvise them as we go along. But for this first part, as usual, I'll be covering the prologue as well as episode 1. So let's go ahead and do that. So for Nightglows, it is one episode shorter than usual, being 5 episodes only. So I'm thinking of actually doing the prologue in episode 1 today, and cover the next 3 episodes next weekend with, what's it called? Episode 2 and 3 for part 2, and episode 4 and 5, but only like parts 1 and 2 of episode 5 for part 3. And then do episode 5 part 3 as well as the epilogue on episode 4, aka the finale. Yo, Xena, welcome. But yeah, I'm just discussing my plans. Hey, Prisma. Hi, Ara, working overtime. We'll watch it later to answer your lore questions. I did hear a lot about this event in passing, about how it's cool because of the story and the lore and all that. I am interested about how it could take place in space, because everything we've learned so far was within the confines of what's called the walls of Tokyo, right? This technically is not really within Tokyo anymore if it's in outer space, right? So I'm interested in how that'll turn out. Alright, let's do this. Someone once said that there are no stars in Tokyo's night sky, and that statement holds true on multiple levels. Colorful neon signs illuminate the streets below, like a forest of light that transforms night into day. If you've ever been to Toronto, it's kind of like that too. You can't see a star in the sky because of all the light pollution. Any faint flickering trace of what would be the vivid darkness of night is completely cut off from those caught within that luminous web. But there's another reason as to why the residents of Tokyo remain unaware of the darkness above them. For there is an edict which clearly proclaims that Tokyo is to have no world of stars. Oh? What is a world of stars? The only individuals familiar with the concept are those who call these worlds home, so the old ones. I play this event. It's amazing how this loop starts. Oh, is this its own separate loop? Let's see. One boasts an idealistic people seeking a future beyond the bounds of time and space. So this is Algernon and Azazoth. Another boasts transcendentalists who slumber among the stars and covet the eternal past. Okay, so it's not necessarily them, but the worlds they represent. Azazoth representing the old ones, and Algernon, I'm not entirely sure what world they represent. Something about Utopia. Who knows? Both of these worlds remain largely unknown to the people of Tokyo, where the future is indefinite, and the past has been cast beyond the wall. Interesting way of describing things. With time existing as an endless loop, Tokyo possesses neither past nor future. Or, so it's been thought. Is there something beyond the loops, then? This time, however, that's all changed in the blink of an eye. Oh, Oz. How does he sound? Alright. Okay, that should be a good angle. Out in the suburbs, where darkness still holds some claim to the skies, Oz is indulging himself in his secret pastime. Only in places like this does night sky's natural darkness hang on, desperately clinging to the life on the edge of sight as city lights slowly encroach upon it from afar. Places like this serve as getaways or refuges from society for a reason. Yeah, if you travel far enough from the city, then you can start seeing the dark again. Great! Now it should be visible. Next, I just have to... He performs one last adjustment to his hefty telescope. On the opposite side of the curved lens, a speckled canopy of stars waits to be seen. After finishing his preparations, Oz peers through the lenses with an excited grin on his face. Huh? What's going on? An unexpected change in the night sky gives Oz more than just a moment's pause. The stars have begun disappearing. The luminous golden specks rapidly vanish from the viewfinder like sand leaking through a sieve. That's weird. I'm sure he set everything up correctly. He lifts his face from the telescope lens with a look of clear disappointment plastered on it. And that's when his dissatisfaction morphs into a fearful shock, most unbecoming of a lion. What? This is... what? His bewilderment suddenly gives way as he comes to understand the ramifications of what he's seen, prompting him to scream at the realization. I'd have no idea what he saw, so I just went for big spook. The curtains have been drawn upon the stage of an imminent nightmare. Ooh. Prologue. Welcome to the last hope for humanity. On this day, a blinding flash of light pierces the sky above Tokyo. The moment after the light subsides, you find yourself in the forest. Oh, you don't... wait, are we being resummoned in a different loop right now? In the very beginning? No way, that's crazy. In the forest you don't recognize... No, it can't be. The entire area is dark and you see no one nearby. Only soft glow illuminates the trees. Can't stay to watch because I'm on shift. Just want to say, hope you enjoyed the story. Wow, it seems everyone's read this already. Yeah, I'm getting really hyped up for it based on everyone's hints about it. Hopefully it lives up to the expectation though. You can't ask others what's going on when no one else is around, and asking yourself is producing no answers either. You realize that you're holding something in your hand. It's your own smartphone. You can tell by the sense of familiarity to its weight, shape, and operations that it's yours, even if you can't quite remember any specifics. Where exactly are you? And what are you doing here? There's no point in panicking. First, it would be best to try and gain your bearings. Oh wow, this really does look like the beginning of the Housamo. Check for a nearby street sign, please. You check your surroundings, but nothing looks familiar. The feeling of desperation in the pit of your stomach grows stronger as you fail to uncover any clues regarding your current situation. What am I doing here? I remember playing with my phone, but then... what? My memory is so hazy. The heretofore dimly lit area around you is suddenly and unceremoniously bathed in blinding light. This is followed by a horrific sound echoing through the night, like the roar of some ferocious beast. Your eyes begin adjusting to the light, the surrounding trees finally coming into focus just in time for you to feel a rush of hot air and see a blanket of black smoke roll in. The source of both are the pillars of fire rising into the sky from the unrelenting explosions that have begun detonating all around you. You're struck with a primal fear, your instincts overriding any sense of good judgment as they tell you to simply start running. The question is, where can you even run to? Well, this is a hardcore beginning. Suddenly, as if pulled out of the surrounding chaos itself, something comes careening towards you from the sky. Yeah! A monster? What's happening? Someone, please help me. Yeah! I was not expecting to voice out. Fucking mic counts. A terrifying creature towers over you with a sticky tar-like carapace covering much of its body. Be it the segmented body parts, or be it just your imagination, you can't help but liken the creature to some kind of insect. Though in actuality, it's unlike any kind of natural creature you've ever encountered before. It's a mystery beyond comprehension, frankly one you prefer not to even think about any more than you have to. Its huge body wriggles and undulates. A slimy drool is slowly secreting from what seems to be its chin. It suddenly leaps forward like a predator prey to consume its prey. Yeah! Huh? Now, all hands, attack! This is probably break, maybe? An ear-piercing explosion layers itself with the sound of something hard popping open. Was it break here in the beginning too? In the loop that we were familiar with? Yeah! The creature is engulfed in flames by the devastating line of fire. It quickly scurries away, shrieking what could be threats or perhaps mere sounds of pain. Yay, it is Break, what do you say? I'm pretty sure Break was also here when we were first summoned to, but of course we didn't see that when we were summoned. It happened like ages later through some flashback. Are you alright? Have you been hurt? Who are you? It's okay now. The threat has been dealt with. You don't need to fear any longer. Try to stay calm and take deep breaths. You're okay. You're okay. Your intrepid savior wraps you in his arms as if he were trying to hold together a cracked vase on the verge of shattering. He slowly strokes your back, and soon enough, your breathing begins to soften. The adrenaline rush subsides, and your heartbeat slows back to normal. But just as your peace of mind begins to form, he starts barraging you with questions. Are you here with anyone else? Friends? Family? Did you not hear the emergency alarms go off? I have no idea what's happening. Emergency alarms? Captain Break, communications from Defense Line A have been interrupted. Your assistance is being requested on Line B. 70% of the city center has been safely evacuated, but the civilians who are headed for here are, Understood. We should divide our forces into 2 teams. I'll group with Alpha Team and make my way to Defense Line B. Lieutenant Carroll, you'll lead Bravo Team back to base. If we're splitting up, you must allow me to lead Alpha Team in your stead, Captain. Having you go is too risky. There's no reason to subject yourself to unnecessary danger. The danger is precisely why I have to go, to save as many people as possible. I'll leave this kid with you. Get him to shelter as soon as you can. Aye, Captain. Roger that. We're gonna go get you out of here, kid. So as long as you're with my people, you can trust that you'll be in good hands. Thank you. Please take care of yourselves, though. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Okay, let's move. There's no time to lose. The man the other called Captain rushes off with a group of his subordinates. The remaining trooper is prepared to depart as well. Come along now. We'll get you to safety in no time. Just try your best to keep up. Well, this is the first time we're seeing the robots not actually actively trying to kill us. The troopers align themselves in formation and begin to advance in unison at a brisk pace. You do your best to keep in step with them from behind. Lieutenant, a target has been detected approaching from 2 o'clock. It's... Another night count. The trooper suddenly disintegrates. All that's left of him is an unrecognizable heap of smoldering ash where he used to be standees. Before you know it, a large shadow looms over the remains and begins to change shape before your eyes. The standing troopers are visibly unnerved by the gruesome transformation and the sudden, unexpected loss of one of their own. They ready their guns. We've engaged the aggressors. Lieutenant, you go on ahead. We'll stay behind and buy you some time. A group of troopers form a line in front of the monstrous figure. Their guns light up in symphony of sparks and flame, but the shot seems all to be bouncing harmlessly off its skin. It's having no effect. We have to run! Yeah! With one fiendish strike, the entire line is utterly obliterated. You stand there petrified, convinced that this is the end. But just as it seems all hope may be lost, someone grabs your trembling hands and pulls you away. It would have to be Kurgani at this point. Oh no, it's just another trooper. Get a hold of yourself! We have to keep running! You can't let yourself suffer any reason. Think of nothing but escape. Come on! Okay, you don't have to tell me twice. What trails behind you is carnage incarnate. The world around you becomes even more saturated with smoke. flames, and haunting screams of fear and anguish. No! Somebody, please save me! Man, that sound effect is so gruesome. Don't show them any opening! Assume attack formation, keep them enemy melee. Those who are too slow to outrun whatever these things are, and those who choose to stand and fight, all find themselves swallowed up by the enemy's ghastly shadows. You sneak a glance at the face of the troopers tasked with getting you to safely, and see a conflicting mix of regret and stalwartness chiseled thereupon. We'll be out of the park soon. Just a little further. No! The enemy's attack strikes the trooper with inconceivable force, sending him flying somewhere far out of sight. The wriggling assailant then begins producing a series of shrill, forceful screeching sounds that almost come across as a form of rudimentary communication. Suddenly it hits you. The monster is laughing. It's mocking you. It's actually enjoying you watching your desperate struggle to escape with your life. It sneers at you, reveling in tragedy its rot. The mere thought of this turns your stomach. But just as the realization hit, a heroic figure appears from behind the creature. Oh my gosh, Trooper B! You think this is a joke, you blasted thing? The monster rapidly and repeatedly shifts its gaze between you and the Trooper. It seems to be trying to determine which of you dared to speak just now. We can't win here. We have to run. Hey. Listen very carefully to what I'm about to tell you. Once you've made your way out of the park, continue ahead just a little longer and you'll find my partner. Say to it, emergency evacuation requested. Then follow up with emergency withdrawal. Do not, and I repeat, do not wait for me. When I say go, you run like hell, and you don't dare look back. You understand me? Rest in peace, Trooper B. Report everything that's happened to our captain too. Tell him it was an honor to have served him. He's a great man. Unsettled by his own words, the trooper turns his attention away from you. I guess Trooper B is familiar with having his USB inserted into his dock. He cocks his gun in and pushes an intimidating war cry from his lungs. The time is now! Attack! Keep your eyes forward and flee. Let's do that. As you run past the monster, your guts sinks with fear. Every impulse in your body is telling you to look behind you and see if it's giving chase, but you resist those urges. The plan for now is to just keep running. You have no intention of stopping whatsoever. There's no combat ability that you know of. What benefit could you possibly serve were you to stay? We got interrupted so fast that we weren't even able to summon our sword or talk to Little Solomon. I wonder if the Little Solomon will even be in this loop. I vaguely remember saying that it'll be his last loop in the current one we were in, but I'm not sure if that's also the only loop that he's in. I need to reread that chapter. Your mind keeps drifting to those brave troopers who stood their ground against this impossible threat in one moment, then were simply erased from existing in the next. Survival is the only combat skill coming to mind for you. Simply living to deliver the trooper's message to his captain is the most you can offer. Go! Go! I've got this! As long as you make it out of here, I can take pride in knowing I looked after my charge to the end. And you heartless beast, it's time to take you for a little ride. The monster is showered in a flurry of attacks, but as far as the trooper could tell, it's shrugging them off all like they were flies. Its black, bug-like body seems entirely unhurt. It is clearly annoyed by the trooper's persistence, however, and lunges towards him for a more focused attack. Don't you think you can take me that easily, bucko? I must protect every last individual and destroy every last enemy. Mark my words, we will... Did he just get wrecked? Interesting transition. Alright, let's move on to Prologues Part 2. Oh yeah, we've never had an event before where we actually just restarted the loop like that. In Valentine Fantasy, though, I think that technically that was the first one they even mentioned the existence of other loops. So maybe, I mean, Nightglows... What came after? Nightglows? No, Nightglows came before it, didn't it? Well, it seems these late stories are taking loops into account, and in this case, we actually just started one at the very beginning. Very interesting way to start off a story. So the cast of this should be Break and Nodens, Kasuga, and Kurugani. But there should also be a side feature of Duo and maybe Bircho since he's right up, and R19. Yeah, I think that's it, honestly. Maybe. I don't know what's up with Oz in the beginning though. He's not right up in this event. Yeah, I'm not too keen on any of the characters in this event. So I'm sort of glad they didn't make it horny at all and instead focused on the story. Because, yeah, Kurigane and Kutsuga don't really do it for me. Don't really care about Break. Kind of really dislike Nodens' voice acting, but then again, I don't know his deal at all. So maybe it has to do with his old one's madness. The next thing you know, something heavy slams onto the ground behind you, sending a shockwave through the earth that resonates even within your body. That was sudden. Why have these people you've only just met thrown their lives away to protect you? You can't just you can't shake this thought from your mind. That was one of the main thoughts we had in the main story of how we just essentially save people that we've only just met, the ones that we've formed connections with. You're not even sure how far you've run, but as you continue to push forward, a silhouette begins to appear in the distance. The silhouette gradually materializes into a giant golden airship of some kind. Its sleek, streamlined shape and crystalline surface are the very definition of awe-inspiring. Is this headquarters for a break? The ship? Wait, he said I'd find his partner here, but he called his partner it, so... Is the ship his partner? Alert! You've approached a highly classified military unit. Contact between this ship and normal civilians is prohibited. I advise that you immediately vacate the premises if you fail to comply. Emergency evacuation requested, and emergency withdrawal. But evacuation first. I need shelter. Request acknowledged. In accordance with wartime regulations, I am obliged to provide you with protection when prompted. You have been granted permission to board the ship. Please proceed to the rear seat of the cockpit. The sound of depressurization hisses through the air as the spaceship's canopy opens from above. A long rope is cast over the side, dangling invitingly before you. A rope, huh? You grab onto it and it begins to retract, effortlessly pulling you inside the vessel. It's a bit old school, but okay. Inquiry regarding the designated pilot, Trooper Carroll. Oh yeah, he has a name. Rare instance of a mob having a name. Just like Flame Lord 69. What are his current whereabouts? When is he expected to return here? He's the one they called Lieutenant. He said to request emergency withdrawal, and not to wait for him. Radar alert. Detecting numerous entities approaching our position. Enemy incursion mode activated. Civilian charge confirmed. Emergency evacuation and withdrawal initiated. Pilot command mode initiated. Commencing emergency withdrawal procedures. Please fasten and secure yourself in the designated seat. You follow the instructions given to you, positioning yourself appropriately in the seat and buckling into the harness that was automatically dropped down over your shoulders. Something substantial fires to life towards the back of the ship, and a high-pitched sound resonates through its interior. Zero-point reactor activated. Aviation controls activated. Commencing takeoff sequence. Despite the fact that that is undoubtedly the safest you've been since you woke up in that forest, these announcements fill you with a certain uneasiness. But before you have a chance to even process the feeling, you notice that you're already airborne. Somehow or another, without even a single sound, this craft has begun to fly. Wait, no countdown? Alright. We actually in the air? Shouldn't there be turbulence? Our anti-gravity device is fitted with an inertia control system for the best possible comfort and care of civilian passengers. Cruising altitude achieved. Switching to level flight mode. You feel only the slightest of thumps. The scenery outside whizzes past you at an impossible speed as the ship blasts forward. You look down onto the ground below through the transparent canopy and swallow nervously. Absolutely everything is in complete ruins. And amid the wreckage, the one color you're seeing most often, in large pools dotting the landscape, is a deep crimson. Jesus Christ. The scope of the tragedy you're passing through is almost unimaginable. This is all that's left of those who lived here, young and old alike, all those who couldn't get away. Wait, are you saying all of Tokyo? This is not just Shinjuku Park, but all of Tokyo is dead now? And where the story's gonna take place in space? Christ almighty. The closer you look, the more you can make out bodies, and not just human bodies. It seems many different species once dwelled together with humans on that land below. Yet now, without exception or distinction, they have all been equally and uniformly massacred. A sudden sound snaps you back to reality and causes you to momentarily shake off the horrific thoughts flooding your mind. This is no time to get lost in existential dread. Yeah! Alert! Numerous entities approaching from all directions. Objects possibly identified as hostile targets. Movement speed and trajectory analysis complete. Estimated time until contact. Approximately 3 minutes and 32 seconds. They can fly too. Can we shake them off somehow? Or maybe go even faster and lose them? Passenger survival is top priority. Accelerating beyond recommended speeds. Please brace for heightened G-forces. Immediately after this announcement is spoken, your entire body is firmly pressed back into your seat from the sudden thrust. The ship's speed increases to almost absurd levels, producing an oppressive force that practically glues you to your seat. Were it not for the inertia control system, you'd be completely crushed. Recalculation complete. Chance of successful retreat due to increased velocity. 0.002%. That's not great. Estimated time until contact with enemy. 1 minute and 10 seconds. Enemy attack is imminent. Is there nothing else we can do? I don't want to die like this. Can we help in any way? I want to help. Acknowledged. Under state of emergency guidelines, additional function controls have now been unlocked. Scanning. Conducting measurements. Nominal readouts confirmed. A meter on the ship's dashboard begins to flash. You struggle to believe what the AI tells you next. You are now recognized as a verified pilot. Your abilities satisfy the standards for operating the ship's combat system. Under current circumstances, breaking through the enemy force via combat produces the highest chances for survival. Are we gunning them then? I guess let's do that then. Do you think we can defeat them? This combat system is classified as top secret. To consent to its operation is to consent to joining the force. This is legally binding decision, and any attempts to dissent or willfully vacate your post will be met with due penalty. Ugh. Knowing these terms and conditions, are you still willing to operate the ship's combat system? Those words ring to you as more a threat than a question. To decline would most likely lead to certain deaths, but to agree doesn't promise a particularly bright future. Ideally, you'd have time to weigh over your options before deciding on something so critical, but you know there are mere seconds until the enemy descends upon you. Activate the combat system. I've got no other choice. Let's do this. Whatever it takes to get out of this. Acknowledged. Combat system, summoners, is now fully operational. There's a little someone there. Alongside this announcement, a strange figure materializes before your eyes in a space just in front of your seat. Hey, little someone. It's a peculiar looking, yet still rather cute animal mask character, as best as you can tell. Luckily, this is the personification of the AI you've been chatting with. Really? Suddenly he just took over the AI at some point. The little someone voice in this event will sound like Pod 042 from Near Automata. Unfortunately, I don't know how that sounds, but I cannot produce any robotic sound effects. You'll just have to deal with someone's voice. Summon AI time! Initiating synchronization with Master. Rule initialization now incomplete. Rule system? Unknown. Rule type? Unknown. Combat proficiency? Unknown. Likelihood of successful encounter to incoming assault? Unclear. Extending denial field. Releasing safety lock on Dominion cannon. A flight control stick rises up from the dashboard in front of you. A screen is projected, displaying all manners of unintelligible information. Despite the unfamiliar surroundings and sensory overload, you understand full well what is being asked of you. You are to fight for your own survival. Ship steering will remain under my control, and combat guidance will be provided when first intercepting the enemy. Estimated time until contact, 30 seconds. Entering combat mode now. Prepare to fire on my mark. How does battles work with this for a ship? Anyway, that's... I'm liking the premise of this story so far a lot, but I'm confused by why Little Salmon is suddenly the battle AI system. It seems the summoners also existed, maybe, before us, which doesn't make sense since the summoners were formed with us. But with how differently things turned out so suddenly, this is suggestive that the loops does not begin with our arrival in Tokyo. Rather, it's what changes is, could happen directly before, and that suggests that, everything that changes physically or loops physically actually happened sometime before we arrived in Tokyo. So that's interesting. The different thing being, the Night Counts actually attacking pretty much immediately when we arrived. I don't think that would be possible on reaction from, those who can pillar over their memories. So this is probably a battle sequence then. We're just waiting for the second half then. So, presumptively, Brake's crew will consist of himself as well as the other troopers, and maybe Kurogane himself? I wonder what happened to the other crafters. Did they just, all die in Tokyo or something? I wonder how Kurogane would feel about that. Because with the scope of what they're describing, that sounded not just, within Shinjuku, but the entire Tokyo, and so it's now all the troubles will just be dealt with in space? But Tokyo is destroyed, so how's that going to work out? That suggests also that this loop will have to end by the end of the story, or at least, some sort of satisfying conclusion that you won't need to see what happens after. Solon's purpose is to always be by MC's side. Being more computer than normal wouldn't stop him from fulfilling his duties as a best butler. You think he adapted to a naturally situation? I guess so. I think he left the phone of his own accord in the original story too. So maybe he just adaptively turned into Ballet in this case. Who knows? 3 objects in formation at 10 o'clock. Lock established. Fire Dominion cannon now. Roger that. Take him down. Oh, that's a bit too close. Maybe back off. You feel intense vibrations as you press firmly onto the ship's firing trigger, and makes the reality of your current situation all the more apparent. The enemies careen off into the distance with each impact. You gradually continue depleting the numbers. Maybe they should have attacked the night counts with the ship in the first place, rather than doing it on foot. Cluster of bogeys detected at 6 o'clock, altering ship's orientation for counteroffensive. Fire in all green! Aye, cutie pie. These things are persistent. Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cute. The ship spins with the quickness of a top, pivoting through the air until the enemy is in its sights. Then you pull the trigger and watch as one blip after another disappears from radar. This continues in rapid succession, with enemies approaching in large numbers and being summarily destroyed as you hone your reflexes more and more. Approximately 5 minutes and 12 seconds have transpired since the beginning of battle. 40% of the enemy forces has been destroyed. The threat rate has been depleted by 63%. Retreating is now a viable option. Right. Emergency withdrawal now. We have to get to safety. Boost this thing to max. Acknowledged. Increasing boost power to exorbitant level. Initiating emergency withdrawal from hostile territory. Is that us breaking this sound barrier? The ship accelerates up to an unimaginable speed. You almost become one with your seat. The overbearing pressure of the ship's speed impedes your blood flow, and you gradually begin to lose consciousness. Your vision grows darker and darker, but just before your senses are completely cut off, you catch a glimpse of something. It's a tiny speck of light glimmering in a vast world of darkness. It reminds you of a line from the old poem you once read. 2 men looked out from prison bars. One saw the mud, the other saw stars. It's a poem about 2 prisoners in the same cell, yet they perceive the world around them in very different ways. The tale serves to answer the question posed by those 2 prisoners. Which is the true state of the world that they gaze upon? Is mud the more prominent feature, or is it stars? The answer lies solely in the skies above, waiting to be found by those with the wherewithal to explore the outermost frontiers of this hostile land. Nightglows of the Starlit Sky. I like how it says that twice. At first glance, it appears no different from any old city suburb. Out on an elevated plain with trees and shrubs sparsely scattered throughout, daylight has just broken. The sun illuminates the sky as it makes its gradual ascent. Looking out upon the scene are 5 silhouettes, staring out at the vast expanse before them. Hello, humans! Have you heard the good news? A report came in from the AI system. That evacuee was found to be compatible. What do you all think? Is it a lucky break? I promise discovery, or maybe a whole new burden to bear. Under normal circumstances, we'd reject such an obvious wildcard, but we are in desperate need of new members. Upon arrival, we'll take the evacuee in for examination. If everything checks out, I'll take charge from there. Even without any military experience, he apparently broke through the army of aggressors all by himself. Sounds like a white card to me, and more like an outright ace. Sorry to tell you about Trooper B. What was the name? Callan or something? But he's kind of dead. Contact from control room received. Nightglow 2 is now under our control. Oh, I guess the ships are called Nightglows. Commencing landing sequence. Confirmed nominal response. Commencing descent. Is this Tirnanug? Why are we in Tirnanug? The giant golden spaceship lets out a shrill sound as it swings gracefully, begin descending towards the ground. The canopy slides open to reveal the singular occupant therein, you. You exchange concerned glances with the 5 unknown figures who stand in line before you. Okay, I guess this is just a different part of Tokyo. What were those things? Your questions are summarily ignored as one of the members steps forward. He's short in stature and appears generally aloof and unconcerned. Can't tell if he's looking at you or past you. Greetings. My name is Duo. I am the commanding officer of this military base. I don't wish to cause you any alarm, but per standard procedure, we must take you into custody. Please do not resist. The other armed soldiers are clear subordinates to this boy named Joe, and more or less put you under arrest. Despite what seems to be a show of force, Joe continues to smile calmly and speak without any trace of concern or malice. Welcome, brave soldier. We are the last hope for humanity. Last hope for humanity. Next time on Nightglows, a pillar of light has transported you to a world headed to under constant attack of vast creatures known as shadowbuggers. Shadowbuggers! The fate of the world depends on the perseverance of the space duo, so something such as even brought safe to... Oh my Jesus Christ, slow the fuck down. Episode 1, choose whichever you'd like. Someone needs to recap me on what the fuck they just said. There's no way it could be that. But they definitely rushed that text to match it with that intro scene. That's kind of funny. I think I just saw a bunch of next time previews anyways, so it's like, whatever. I'm gonna see that soon enough. It's a cheeky way to sort of riff on the on-way trope. Okay, episode 1, part 1. Let's do this. Every end episode say next time? I can say that at least. I had no idea that would be a recurring thing, but we'll just have to find out. But yeah, last hope for humanity. Everyone's probably mega dead. Interesting that Bertro and Duo are working together again, since the three geniuses don't generally do that, but they did work together as well in the main story, or at least Duo was helping out Bertro. Yeah, that was a transition speedrun. Okay, it wasn't just me, right? It was too fast for anyone to read. I mean, I'm sure you could speed read it perfectly fine, but even for certain readers, that might have been too fast to read in their heads. That was a lot to take in for a prologue, though. I suppose it set the tone. Prologues generally do that in terms of the setting and the build-up to, not yet the plot, but what could be the plot. So it seems that we have been recruited into the Nightglows space team, which is like the last bastion for humanity's survival. Which is featuring 5 other members besides ourselves now. Alright. Kurgani Break, R19, Duo, and some other guy. Nightglows of Starlit Sky, Episode 1. Choose whichever you like. Nice dungeon music. A few hours have passed since you ascended from that ravaged land and arrived at the secret base. Although initially restrained and taken in by the armed soldiers who awaited your arrival, you are only subject to a medical examination and some general questioning, as opposed to the brutal interrogation you'd feared. After some time passed, the results of your examination are finally presented to you. So, his memory has been lost. Is there any civilian ID on file that matches his appearance? Our database produced no matching results. It is possible he came from a lost colony destroyed by the aggressors. If you were a lone survivor, That would certainly explain the lack of ID. What's your take, Commander? I take it as a rash conclusion. He could be the enemy in disguise, seeking our protection as a ruse for spy activities. Oh! That is very suspicious suspicion. Keeping company with you certainly has made for an interesting times. Commander, without supporting evidence, I feel that line of thinking may be a bit paranoid. His questioning and medical inquiry all came back clean. Simply put, there is no logical reason for doubt. Confirmed. The patient's brain fluids, skin cells, and DNA were thoroughly examined, and no abnormalities were detected. The patient's loss of memory is attributed to dissociative identity disorder, known colloquially as general amnesia. What? Okay, those are two different things. Dissociative identity disorder and amnesia are two completely different things. The fuck? The idea is like what you got when you have multiple personalities. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Okay, whatever. It is hypothesized that this condition can result from stress due to trauma. Similar cases of memory loss have also been observed in other recent patients. Besides which, the enemy has never adopted a human form for espionage before, as far as we know. There being no reason to. Keywords there are, as far as we know. And there's a first time for everything. Don't let assumptions cloud your judgment. Counterpoint. All our technical readouts and training tells us that the stranger is not out to kill us. We should accept that. And should he in turn out to be a walking time bomb, maybe we can take out a few enemies with us when we blow. We need all the resources we can get our hands on, after all. A walking time bomb might not be so bad right now. Ah, come on, man. You hurt my feelings talking like that. We ran our checks using our best equipment. If the results are clean, then everything's clean. I just got that I did get a warning. For what? Oh yeah. In case you were wondering, I'm the lead technician here, so I'm pretty qualified to make that statement. I'm also the eldest of the group, so these bozos are honored bound to listen to me. So don't be scared, okay? I've got your back! Kurgani liking to take the leadership role, despite always being the junior. The technician's words actually do offer some degree of relief, as he seems sincere in his assurances and attitudes alike. Looks like you're breathing a little easier now, yeah? So, welcome. Think you've got the energy to talk some more? Oh, you just got here. Welcome, Audley. Yeah, we just finished the prologue, in which everyone died, and then we got saved by the Nightglows team, which is this apparently. Like, literally, we just got summoned into Tokyo. It was pretty cool how we got summoned in. Just like in, you know, the chapter 1 of the main story. And apparently, Little Summon is now the battle AI for the Nightglow ship. Where is this exactly? Who actually are you all? And what are the things we're fighting? Reasonable questions to start with, for sure. First, let's go over what we know for certain. I'll do my best to cover everything I can. But there's no FAQ here, and some of this may get pretty technical. You might not understand everything. I'll start by introducing everyone. As I said before, my name is Duo, and I'm the commander of this military base. And I'm Bercho. I'm the second in command. I bring this base's Lieutenant General. I'm Special Unit R19. Please refer to me by that designation as needed. And I'm Kurogane, lead technician. Let me know your thoughts about the ship when you've got time. Feedback is paramount. I suppose I never properly introduced myself, come to think of it. My name is Break. I'm the captain of our combative force. Seems like everyone's the lead of some kind. What the heck? Except for Bercho, who's just second lieutenant. Right. Next, the explanation. I'll start with the humanity's world-changing discovery, and go over our history of setbacks. Oh, is this thing that was from Oz like a flashback even before this point? And not something that just happened immediately before? Simply put, the discovery of space travel was revolutionary for us. It opened up a whole new realm of exploration. Suddenly, we were standing at the forefront of a new frontier, beyond the skies we'd heretofore considered unreachable. The space age was upon us, a time period in which humanity wore its hopes on sleeves and soared into the heavens. On Earth, once considered a singular and precious fluke of existence, was found to be one of many inhabitable planets. The humans who set out away from Mother Earth sought to colonize the worlds of shining stars. But our advancements came to an abrupt halt due to our contact with the enemy, with whom we've already crossed paths. We call them the Shadowbuggers. Their origins are unclear, but we know them to be aggressors who travel through space. And as you've seen yourself, they're completely impervious to all but the most lethal weapons. Plus, they can move freely and quickly on land, in the air, or even in deep space, giving them even more of an advantage. And that's why we call them Shadowbuggers, because they're shouty, they look like bugs, and they're real nasty little buggers. Clever double meaning, isn't it? Humanity's sense of humor is the best. Since the war began, we run into great many setbacks, as I'm sure you can imagine. Our colonized planets have all been uncolonized, and we've even lost our own home planet. We're on our last legs here. Ooh, jeez. Complete obliteration then. Areas suitable for human habitation have been depleted to roughly 0.005% of their peak. Humanity has taken shelter in the asteroid belt and other remote locations in an effort to hide from the Shadowbuggers' influence. So we're on the brink of an extinction? Is there no hope left for us? What a horrific state of affairs. Sounds like you understand what we're up against. The outlook is certainly bleak, to say the least. But there is one more depressing detail I think you need to know. Our space army has been reduced down to the people who are here at this very base. Oh, okay. So, no more of the troopers. Actually, we saw troopers directly outside. We are quite literally the very last desperate hope for resistance against the Shadowbuggers. Those words have a stern and forlorn weight to them. You look around at the others and note that they too all have a particularly solemn air about them now. But it's Duo's gaze that really gets you. You noticed it before, too. It's like he was looking at you, but also past you, through you, and now there's an expectancy added to the mix. And you were able to operate Nightglow. You displayed a near instantaneous competency, wholly proving your worth. Your ship's AI has certainly made you aware of this, but you joined your forces as soon as you agreed to operate that ship. You also relinquished any right to dissent or discharge yourself from service until the war has been completely resolved. Well, guess we're stuck here. Niet! That's not completely true. Lots of our soldiers have been allowed to preemptively leave the force. Most even. Dead bodies can fight, after all, no matter how much we try to force them. It's a joke! It's just a joke. Just a stupid little wartime funny to lighten the mood. I guess Bertram would be down for the situation. Commander, Lieutenant General, please, have some consideration. Think of how Aerothan must feel right now. Many of our colonies aren't aware of the tragic conditions we've been suffering here on the front lines. We should take great care in how we present things to civilian recruits and consideration of their mental health. The reason we haven't kept civilian colonies in the loop about the situation on front lines is simply that there is no need to. The stress that knowledge would bring them would diminish their productivity and by extension our supply chain. But I suppose at this point, there's no reason to even distinguish civilians and recruits anymore. We've reached the point where we'll have to drop anyone and everyone we can. If they can fight, you're going to have to. No sense in sugarcoating reality. Our stranger here was only able to stay in the dark because his turn hadn't come up yet. But that ship has sailed, so to speak. You've demonstrated what you can do, so there's no turning back now. No mourning for Kalen. Like it or not, you're under my command, so you might as well get used to the idea any way you can. I expect selfless dedication and complete loyalty to our cause moving forward. Humanity's survival depends on it. Yeah, except our space division is gone now. We haven't received contact from them in over a month. So we really don't have anything to answer to anyone more. No one to swear allegiance to. Nothing. Oh, so this was just a branch then to a larger institution, but apparently the main one got exploded. Meanwhile, if you wanted to go AWOL, it wouldn't take a whole lot to make it happen, would it, Commander? It certainly would, because he'd have me to answer to. With the chain of command decimated, I am firmly in charge. Pretty quick to assume command, huh? And anyone who defies my orders will be punished accordingly. Of that, I can assure you. Roger, Dodger, old codger. Do accept my apologies for speaking out off the turn. In this time of strife, I swear to be your brother and to give my eternal allegiance to you and your word. Thank you, Bertro. It pleases me to have your support and loyalty. But if I may offer my opinion, Commander, isn't it better to recruit willing soldiers than to just haphazardly take in anyone? I think we'd only want those we can trust to put forth their utmost effort on the battlefield. So to that end, how about I offer you a little choice, The way I see it, these are your options, Harrison. Number 1, you become a soldier and fight for a cause, even knowing it will likely lead you to certain deaths. Number 2, you cowardly hide yourself away and wait for the enemy to eventually find and massacre you. Or number 3, you escape from this world, right here now, by way of the nuclear option, if you know what I mean. Jeez, he's talking about suicide. Those are your choices. Your only choices. So many lovely options, though. What shall you choose? 1, 2, or 3? Thank you for including every extreme. 4, we wipe the enemy out in one go. Let's do this. Now who's making jokes, huh? What makes you think we could have pulled off a miracle like that? I hate to disappoint you, but not even the common cold can bring those Shadowbringers down. We're not wiping them out. Despite the extreme disparity in style and tact, both Duo and Bertro seem to be sending you the exact same message. You're definitely being led to say you're in, even knowing it's a largely hopeless battle that will, by all indications, be the end of you. The only question is, how long can you delay the inevitable, and perhaps by whose hand you prefer it come? General Bertro, I find your speech to be overly pessimistic. And Commander Duo, you could stand to work on yours as well. Yeah, I know a positive outlook isn't going to change anything, but it sure couldn't hurt to hold out at least a little hope. We've been certainly on a losing streak until now, but that doesn't mean the curtain's been drawn. We're down, but not out. Exactly! I believe we have a chance of defeating those shadow buggers, and that ship is a symbol of that chance. We call it Nightglows. It's our all-purpose combat spaceship equipped with denial field technology. Denial field? What's that? It's got a nice ring to it. And it seems like a powerful weapon. Nice little space graphic. The Nightglow is equipped with the capacity to emit a special force field. Anything within the boundary of that field is no longer subject to the regular laws of physics. The specifics get complicated. But basically, the field can manipulate those laws by way of the user's capacity for thought acceleration. What? What? Are they using like the master rule somehow and accelerating its effect, and transmitting it through the field? They call each specific manipulation of those laws a rule. Oh, okay. Kind of is then. So it's rather than being confined within a set of walls, it seems we can bring forth our own walls, the force field, and then apply our rules within it. Handy application, if I do say so myself. When the field is deactivated, anything within it reverts back to its former state from before the field was established. Yep, so the master rule taking effect. I like this. I know it's like, you know, mythology and all that, but there is like a consistent logic with their science of rules here. Ara's untied beard. Yeah, I don't usually leave it untied for streams, but I was kind of just a bit late to prepare for it, so I didn't have time. Anyway, sometimes I do this if I'm feeling lazy. Not my favorite appearance, but it's alright. This means any damage caused to the spaceship and any injury to the pilot is completely reversed. Pretty cool, huh? I think it's handsome. Thanks. The catch is, Nightglow can only be operated by those capable of using rules. And the field is automatically deactivated if the pilot endures an attack that would ordinarily be fatal. Alright. I guess also in the original story, within a battle zone, fights would end when, you know, one of them is defeated. So, not like by manually defeating the summoner within us, aka us, then the zone would close. Even if things are averted in the end, it still would be bad when the field is shut down. Furthermore, although damage and injury are reversed when the field is deactivated, any memories of the event will remain. Yeah, so they're not saying it directly, but it is a natural effect. And if the shadow buggers latch onto you, they can alter your thought patterns and cause you to die all the same. Ugh. Okay, this is pretty cool with how they're applying the rules and making it seem more like sci-fi than what's called... I don't know, it's a cool scientific application to this mythological principle within the world of Housamo. On the subject of rules, are you all familiar with them? They're a pretty interesting subject all on their own. Those shadow buggers are no match for him. Rules can knock them completely out of observable existence. I wonder why that's the case. Do they not have their own rule system established or something? And that's important, because remember, anything inside the field's boundary returns to its former state upon deactivation. But the memories that are destroyed never come back. When we discovered that, it was a real eye-opener. Huh. Why is that? Your rule seems to follow that same pattern, or is at least equally effective against the shadow buggers. See, the thing is, you know, it should undo everyone's damage, including the shadow buggers. I'm not used to calling them the shadow buggers. It's quite possibly that they're kind of outside the rule system. And, you know, it's one of those irreversible things like with the old ones. If you remember, some of the old ones were actually able to use their powers outside of battle zones. I would presume it's just because there's a giant wall surrounding them with the walls of Tokyo, but still, it was a bit different in that they could just teleport at will anywhere they wanted without a battle zone. Namely, Sasagwa, but I think also Nyarlathotep and maybe a few others. And that's what fascinates me most about you. Enrollment be damned. I just want to study you. Could your research fix my memory loss? And that means you can be alone then. Hello? I mean, I don't really work alone. I have assistants to help me out as needed. It's always good to have at least one other set of eyes on your work, you know? Offer fresh perspective and all that. Man, play ball with my horniness. I get the sense that Kurigane didn't quite catch Aerith's signal. Very perceptive break. As a member of the medical staff, please permit me to interject. Go ahead, Armington. Have you found some sort of abnormality? I have detected an average level of exhaustion within the recruit, which falls within the range of known to impaired judgment. A resulting period of at least 6 hours with ample intake of nutritional supplements is strongly advised. Joe closes his eyes and lets out a deep sigh. R19, I leave the monitoring to you, medical and otherwise. Please, take him to his room. Acknowledged, Commander. Come, Aerithon. You follow R19 out of the room. It suddenly dawns on you how exhausted you actually are. You let out a sigh in spite of yourself, which becomes a yawn. The debriefing and intelligence hearing was quite long. You must be very tired. Your room is this way. Please note, however, that until your status has been completely verified, you must be kept under strict observation. Your freedom of movement, including the ability to leave the space, will be forfeit. Please understand and comply. I'm tired, but I'm really hungry. Thanks for sitting me back there. Words of gratitude should not be directed towards me as a result of my actions. It is my duty and function to provide care and assistance to those designated occupants of the space. Housamo Sci-Fi Edition. Yeah, I'm really liking the vibe of it. You know, I kind of like systems being explained properly. Part of the reason why I don't really like high fantasy is because not the existence of magic, but rather the existence of magic and there's no explanation for it. It just is, you know. But when you get to like Housamo levels where they have entire systems of the rules and the battle zones and the rule majority and, you know, how it usurps existing laws of physics and the world's participating. It's a very, you know, interconnected system of different considerations, and I think it's a lot more solidly believable, or at least easy to immerse yourself in. From my understanding, any old one can teleport since the system is using my processing power to contain an old one, but cannot contain everything of them. The system is using processing power to contain an old one. Huh. Let's see. I don't think I've ever read anything like that, but yeah, older ones seem to have always been an exception in terms of using their powers. Although I'm not sure if that's true of everyone or specifically just the old ones, but you know, the old ones are known for teleporting around battle zone or not. Maybe it's just like the natives of the world are able to use their powers outside of a battle zone, whereas app users such as ourselves can only use it within, a summoned battle zone. By suggesting the world that you need rest, I'm simply following protocol in accordance with my observations. Nothing more. Just take the damn compliment, jeez. Moments after R19 finishes speaking, the android stops in front of the door. There's a slight pause as R19 suddenly motions for you to go in. For security reasons, I must lock the door from the outside. Please enter. Despite the android's polite mannerisms, it's crystal clear from the statement that you have yet to win this group's trust. You feel unnerved by all the talk of observation, monitoring, and movement restrictions, but you have little choice other than to comply and enter the room. You are free to bathe or shower as needed, but please pay attention to regulations concerning the rationing of resources. Your room will be monitored for suspicious activity, and you'll be contacted if there are any questions or concerns. That is all. I will now take my leave. I hope the accommodations are to your liking. The android's behavior strikes you as similar to that of a 5-star hotel concierge. That just supposes R19's adolescent stature makes you even more curious at how such a being came to be serving in this ragtag militia. Luxurious isn't quite the word you'd use to describe your room, but if nothing else, an effort was made to provide all the basic necessities and comfort, as it surprisingly looks like our guild room. There's a water bottle and a lunchbox placed on the table. What would I do first? I would probably inspect the room first. Let's inspect. The door to your room is shut tight. There are no computer panels or other controls visible anywhere inside the room. The room has been furnished with a decent-looking bed, a desk, and a chair, and it has a perfectly acceptable bathroom off to the side. There are no windows, with only a single monitor on the wall serving as a substitute for one. Everything in this room serves as a reminder that you're more or less being held under restraint by this army. Oh, so these are options, I see. What would I do? I'd probably go eat first, and then shower everything away. You open the lunchbox to find a thick sandwich and a fruit compote inside. It's very important I pick all these options, even though they're evidently optional. As rations go, it's a bit on the small side, but it tastes good enough to calm your nerves and make you feel a bit more comfortable with your lodging there. It really is just a guild room. I really wish they would revamp the guild room's appearance, because this is like the blandest shit. There's nothing inside. Do we just stand inside this like fucking asylum room with cushions on walls, talking to each other about our plans for the summer vacation or some shit? Nowhere to sit. We do need an upgrade to our guild room for sure. It's likely the smaller ration size is necessary for resource management anyway. You reason. Clearly this group is doing all they can to change the horrifying reality of this tragic war. I feel so sticky. I need a shower. Is it time for the MC CGI of us taking a bath? The bathroom is smaller than expected, but the shower water comes out hot, allowing you to thoroughly enjoy a nice, refreshing freshening up. You only just now notice how much dirt, sweat, and debris you've accumulated from your brief stint on the battlefield. With those memories fresh in your memories, you think about the choices you've been presented, or what constitutes choice around here anyway. You think of how many soldiers must have been put here before you, washing away their own dirt and their own painful realizations of the grim new reality they'd come upon. Alright, that should be everything. Doesn't seem to be anything else to do. You lie down on the bed and wonder how many other soldiers have slept in this very spot. When a sound trickles in from behind your room's walls, you close your eyes, and before you know it, you're fast asleep. As ever they have before, and as ever they will, the stars continue to shine down upon the space from the heavens above. You can't see them from your room, but you still know that they're there. I feel like half that episode was just us taking a bath and eating. Okay, sure. Let's say I start experimenting with options like that. It's kind of annoying to have different button selections and. Okay, I'm gonna need to fix this. Give me a second. Oh no. That's funny. What episode was that again? I don't even remember. Well, it didn't seem like there was a battle during that scene, so if it went to the next part, it'd probably just stop there. Straight up, and didn't load the map properly, so there was no second part. So we should probably just go to the next part. Episode 1, Part 1. Thank you for confirming that. So the next part is probably Episode 1, Part 2, and it seemed unlikely there was a part after that since it just died.
東京放課後サモナーズ。我々はこれより新宇宙への航行を決行する。グッドラック。俺の友よ。
Yeah, it doesn't even let me return back to battle because I literally just saw everything. Alright, so we will now be finishing off with Episode 1, Part 2. Let's do this. The technology of having multiple choices was too strong for LifeWonders. That's why the app collapsed. They were not ready for that technology. To be fair, Anvari bought that shack for the Summoners and didn't want to pay a lot. It's also not like the Summoners, oh yeah, that's true, that was Anvari who bought it for us. I mean, we should have been able to pay it back eventually, especially with all our participation in events. It's also not like the Summoners would do anything to upgrade a bigger space when MC gets special privileges. Yeah, but they're always like talking about like sharing food in there and having parties and shit like that. I don't know, don't they at least want a Summer to sit while they're talking about their plans? Like, it's not that hard to get some chairs. Yeah, why does this phone load everything so slowly? I kind of wish I could stream on my other phone just for better loading speeds, but the capture of it is at a horrendous, what's called bitrate, I believe. Ironically, they always talked about how financially low on coin they are from time to time. The struggle of just owning a gold room in Tokyo is a struggle. I mean, don't we have some people that are at least somewhat good with money? I'm sure, like, we have fucking all of the tycoons who wants to lavish us with rewards and shit like that. I'm sure they could help us out. Okay, let's continue the story. You wake up to find yourself in a vast empty space that seems to stretch out forever in all directions. I think this was similar to Sasagawa's floor, I believe, before we actually saw his room. You're floating in the complete void, with no ground below your feet. There's no trace left of the room to which you were recently confined. The only thing in sight to give you any bearings at all is splatterings of innumerable shining particles of light in all directions. Their distribution seems random. In some sections they appear clustered together, while in others they're more isolated. As they twinkle, they shift colors prismatically. Finally, you have arrived. Was that Nodens? You have arrived, oh heir of our dreams. Oh god, I have to voice Nodens. At first, the voice seems to be emanating from somewhere far in the distance, but when you next hear it, it's as though the one speaking is right next to you. Yeah, get the dragon super daddy to pay for your expenses. Exactly, right?
We have waited for you for so long, separated from time and divided by space. We've waited in deep slumber at the edges of the roaring sea, our realms of perception.
What do you mean, heir of dreams? What is this place?
We will not give our names at this time, but we will disclose this. They are they who once departed, but now have returned. Come unto us, and we shall determine if you are worthy of witnessing the continuation of our dream. To your own dreams. We have arrived at the ruins of this once grand, sturdy castle, adorned with agate.
The ominous voice echoes throughout the dimly lit void, through this world of stars. Its cadence is slow and serene, like a solemn and supplicating soliloquy. Not quite what I'm voice acting, but I have no idea how notice sounds otherwise.
Open your eyes and come hither. You may rest eternally here, but die you will not.
Ew. You awake with a start. A shrill sound reverberates throughout your room. Your memory of the dream grows fuzzy, and as you reacquaint yourself with the reality of where you are, you feel a bit sick to your stomach. Arthan, you're awake! I'm glad to have found you unharmed. I want you to stay calm and listen to what I have to say. This could be the other Nodens. I think I remember seeing briefly his Valentine quest, and apparently he seemed to be talking about like his shirtless self as well as like his surrounded by a bunch of, I don't know, it's some multicellular organism or multi-conscious organism. We'll find out. I have no idea what it's about. We're being attacked. Our defense lines have already been broken. We don't have much time left. This is our last chance. I'm sorry, but you have to make your decision right now. Will you fight the shadow buggers, or will you run from this place and find shelter in the nearest colony? What I'm saying, the obvious choice is to run. That is absolutely your best option here. Rake lowers his voice and makes his true feelings and matter known. You realize this must be something he wanted to say for a while, but obviously couldn't have in front of the others. Oh no, it's sad music. It doesn't matter how much power you've got in you. That's no reason for us to condemn you to this fight. What you want to do is the most important thing. If you weren't in this willingly, you won't last a minute in battle. I'm sure if pressed, even the commander and lieutenant general would have to agree with that. No matter how desperate for reinforcements they are, it doesn't excuse their attempt to force you into this fight. They feign a cordial welcome and use propaganda so they can embolden civilians like you to join their cause. And that always just ends in neutrality. So no more. Choose for yourself. Don't worry about us. Me, I've chosen the brave battlefield because I hope that I can help bring about a resolution to this war. Rake smiles and speaks as though he's making an oath. The defeatist implication of his words is clear, but he maintains confidence and despite it all. Far from harsh rebuke or judgment he expected, he appears to be speaking from the heart. Rip Kalen. He said you're a great man, you know. Those were your lieutenant's last words. Oh, the one who... Did he really say that about me? That idiot. I told him to contact me directly if anything went wrong. Never ends out here. The constant goodbyes. The constant separations. That's why you have to go. You have to live. Don't hesitate. The escape pods are that way. Go. No. I'm going to pilot that ship. I want to secure a future for humanity. Let's fight this war together. You what? Hey, are you sure? This is a point of no return, you know. You nod your head with complete assuredness. You insist that this decision is made completely of your own will. I'm sorry that it's come to this, but thank you. Drake gently pulls you in and gives you a hug. You're reminded of the first time he wrapped you in his arms for protection. He slowly lets you go, twisting his face with a more stern, stoic expression. You will join my regiment and fight under my command then, understood? Your first objective, drive back the Shadowbuggers invading our base. Now that I have your complete support, I'll be counting on you on your success, Officer Ayrton. Aye, Captain, you can count on me. Please pay a reward for my return. Reward? I suppose I can think of something for you. Make sure you live long enough to achieve it, though. This is a really pretty background. I just gotta say that right now. So glimmery. You follow Drake down the corridor towards the base's hangar. You hear explosions rattling the base, giving an added weight to the gravity of your decision. Along the way, Drake makes a brief stop in some sort of command room. You can hear his side of a call with another officer. The cadet is in. Registering IFF now. The ship is Nightglow 002. No worry. I'll follow close behind and make sure there aren't any problems. Drake concludes his call, and without a word to you about it, he continues leading you to the hangar, where you find Kurogane having just finished preparations.
Drake! Your ship's all green on this end. Ready to go whenever you are.
Good. I'll board mine first then. This is it, Ricky. Don't trail too far behind me. Drake dashes into the spaceship, and within moments, he's in flight. He immediately alters course to confront the aggressors. As soon as Kurogane finishes setting Drake off, he turns his attention to you and leads you to your ship as well.
Your role has already been authenticated within the ship. The rest of the formalities can be taken care of later. You can pick out your pilot suit when you get back too, so keep that in mind, and don't go dying out there! AI, after the new bee takes off, make a connection with Drake's ship. It'll serve as this one's consort. Command acknowledged. Main system activated. Welcome aboard, Arthur.
It's kind of cute, but also a bit different that Solomon is speaking so formally, you know, as the AI. Here we go again. I'm counting on you, partner. Let's get me all signed in and such.
Acknowledged. Master identification complete. Now that you have formally become this ship's master, please allow me to more formally introduce myself. I am Nightglow, a battle support system created for the sole purpose of countering Shadowbugger's assault. I am an artificial intelligence designed to advise the best course of action to ensure my master's survival and success. As you are still the master, however, I will require consistent verbal input from you in order to maximize the ship's potential. Please do not hesitate to offer proposals regarding battle tactics or to ask questions. Both are welcome and encouraged. You have a name? Or am I supposed to call you Nightglow? Or do I call you AI like Kurogane then? This system has been designed to make instantaneous judgment calls in response to battlefield conditions and master input. Please do not feel any obligation to address me at all. If you are speaking to me, I'll be able to determine as such.
They really don't want to say little Solomon, but you know, indicating that it is in fact little Solomon. The AI system's rejection of your attempted cordiality seems overly blunt, considering how lovable and huggable the characters representing it on your screen appears. You stare at the mascot character's image for a moment, and a name suddenly pops into your head.
I know. We'll call you Little Solomon.
Lots of folks give their little ships pet names, so why shouldn't you have one too?
Understood. You may address me by that name henceforth. Please do refrain from using it during formal operations, however. Remember that I am a system and property of the military. Urgent notice! We are 3 minutes and 30 seconds past the intended departure time. Recommended we sortie immediately.
Alright. Let's go, Little Solomon. We have to help Captain Drake. Proceed to take off.
Acknowledged. Please strap into the pilot's harness. Commencing takeoff sequence. Building main reactor. Requesting permission for takeoff. Permission received. Clearance confirmed. Initiating takeoff.
I guess it kind of makes sense how the battles are still the same, just because even though we're fighting in spaceships, we're still using, our rules to enforce outside the force field, apparently, or within the force field that we're generating. So we still haven't met Kasuga yet, and Noden's apparently speaking to us from within our dreams. He has been awaiting us. Yeah, I wonder what the story is about if that's the case. Noden may have seen our arrival coming when we were summoned into Tokyo. In which case, he might know something even greater about the loops in the game, or at least something regarding our existence that others don't know. That would be interesting, though. Maybe it's just something within our past selves, like what's it called? The guy from the old ones that's within our body. I think it's like Cthulhu who's our exile. That's the term. Yeah, thank you, Lego. That's it. After your ship takes flight, you're quickly surrounded by a cluster of enemy combatants. You fire off a shot. It connects, and Shadowbuggers is no more. First AI tried to take over Art, and now it'll sell AI. When will it stop? However, it didn't seem to be physically damaged by the shot. Rather, you somehow got the impression that it simply vanished into the dark void of night. Reinforcements begin appearing on a radar at an unimaginable rate. The enemy force seems to be growing almost exponentially. There's no end in sight here. Well, we can't let them break through. Captain Break, any ideas? Well, hold on. Nice, what's it called? Filter for communications. Don't let the enemy see you, filter. And don't you dare go off on your own. Here, follow my lead. Make sure you keep your distance. Last thing you want to do is come in contact with them. They'll melt right through you. Holographic break. The officers watching the battle from the control room exchange nervous glances amongst one another. The number of hostiles around the base is unreal. This doesn't seem to bode well. That's putting it lightly. Blocking out 70% of the sky on Mars. Our anti-aircraft system can't keep up. Base defense block A has been breached. Estimated time until block B gets overtaken is roughly 12 minutes. Understood. We'll just have to move up our plans, I suppose. Nightglow 1, Nightglow 2. Bring the enemy in at the designated point. We're abandoning the base. All non-essential personnel is to begin evacuating immediately. So, we're finally jumping ship, huh? I thought this might happen, so I came prepared. That's for that, yeah, home base. Parting is such a sweet sorrow, don't you think? There's no time for sentimentality. We have to keep moving forward. Are you with me or not, General Bircho? No need for the blown gasket. I was just trying to be prophetic for the humanity of it all. I'm with you, Commander. Changing member affiliation in response to execution of final protocols. Confirming best route to new post. You know, what's this called? Bertro and Duo should have memories of past loops, but I wonder if it's just the situation in this loop is so severe that they can no longer care about the game. they're literally just cooperating straight up, and the invaders don't exist, and the wise men don't exist. They're just here to save the remains of like the 5 left over because of how bad this loop has gone. In which case, it's more surprising this loop hasn't already ended. But then again, the conditions for loop closing is still ambiguous. Changing member affiliation in response to the execution of final protocols. Conferring best route to new post. Please follow my lead. I will guide everyone to safety. After quickly shutting down all of the terminals and devices, the men stationed in the command room hurriedly evacuated as well. And shortly thereafter, they blew up the base? Captain Brick, is everything okay? Did we fail? Not at all. This was the plan all along. Keep your head up, Aerothan. The base was wired for this from the start, unfortunately, to be enacted alongside a particular contingency plan. Nightglow 1, do you read me? This is your commander. Sweep up all the enemies in the warship's path. Are they evacuating the warship, then? Roger that, Commander. You're with me, Aerothan. We're going to create an opening for our final hope. You follow Brake's lead and proceed to focus your attacks on a cluster of enemies situated within a very specific aerial corridor. Then the ground where the base once stood opens up. It now dawns on you that the base was built over top an underground bunker. A large wave of pressure pushes through the air, originating from within the newly opened cavity. Whoa. Is that your final hope? It's a space warship! It was created alongside the Nightglow units to fight against those Shadowwiggers. It's a deep space fighter ship fueled by the power of rules. Its name? Wall of Time. So it's a literal wall then, as well as a figurative one. Rake's voice is filled with pure confidence and hope. The enemy surrounding the giant ship looks as small as grains of rice. Ooh, it must be enormous, like an actual space station. The ship brilliantly reflects the sun's light with its golden hull, robustly layered to make penetrating through its plating extraordinarily difficult. Activate the denial field and engage all cannons. Let's clear house with a single volley. The cannon's blast sweeps through the horde of enemies, leaving almost no trace of any aggressors in their wake. The Wall of Time's firepower is clearly much stronger than the Nightglows. Not a single thing can withstand its immense power. It's definitely not a ship that you'd want to be on the wrong side of. Whoa, the battle's basically won already. So this is our secret weapon, huh? That warship seems unstoppable. Don't just hover there gawking. Both of you, proceed to the dock at once. We're headed up beyond this planet's atmosphere. In 30 minutes, we'll be initiating the first jump to our destination. Right! So if you're not on board by then, you never will be. When we get back, I intend to teach you more about all these ships, so don't you dawdle, Aerothan. And clear your schedule too. You don't even have all that much time for sleeping with everything I've got planned. You can leave the docking and landing maneuvers through your AI system. Your ship is set to use guide beacon number 3. Upon confirmation of your arrival, the evacuation operation will be complete. I wish you a safe return. Yeah, I'm getting a Starbox vibe too. This really doesn't seem, horny at all or whatever, besides the occasional casual conversation. It's really just straight up a battle sequence event. Pretty fun. Seemingly for the first time, everyone is showing signs of positivity, without any hints of cynical defeatism you've come to associate with this group. You finally feel as though this is the proper first step on what promises to be a journey to put an end to the despair of the past and win back hope for the future. Let's go, rookie! We're both safely back on board. We can have ourselves a toast. I want to celebrate the success of your first sortie and give my best wishes to you for good fortune on the journey ahead. He's gonna give us a reward. Roger that, Captain. Next time on Nightglows, don't even try. Shadowbuggers, Agate Castle, dropping by, resupply. Oh yeah, Nomad's here. Connections, of course. Of course, Nomad lives the apocalypse. And buggers, and looks like the old ones are gonna be encroaching. Episode 2, Remembrance of Things Past. Hopefully I did better there by summarizing the gist rather than trying to read the entire thing out. Well, you know, at least we're getting it on replay here so we can review it later. But yeah, I don't even remember when it started, but that should be the end for today. We started at 11, right? So it hasn't even been 2 hours, surprisingly. Man, I wish I could keep going. And I probably could, but I already committed to just doing what's called the prologue in episode 1. So it will have to do for now. Let's go over here and put up the fancy thing. So that is the prologue as well as episode 1 of Nightglows. I did not expect it to go down so hard. Between Valentine Fantasy and this event, they're definitely going all out with actually using the story terms we've come to be so familiar with now, in reference to the actual loops and our summoning, but also in terms of the rules and how they're enforced within spaces. I'm very excited with how it'll turn out, and maybe we'll get some better clarity with the old ones. That one has always seemed rather ambiguous to me of how they work out. Sensibly Sinkasuga, Nyarlathotep, and what's called Nodens, presumably in the next episode. I'm looking forward to seeing what their connection is to the grander scope of the game and the loops and our existence before the loop and all that. It seems Nodens knows something, if not the rest. Actually, I wonder how that's gonna work out. The old ones were summoned into Tokyo, but technically they just came from outer space, right? So maybe you don't actually need to travel to a gate to get to their world. You just need to go out in space, and that's in this sort of loop. They weren't summoned, but you can still reach them by going into space because they're part of the space. The old ones could do and all that. So that could be interesting turn of events. Although that would imply that, well, again, we don't know the time of when the trip will begin. But yeah, another speedrun transition. Yeah, it's pretty fast. Fire, I'll try to be on the next stream. Yeah, thanks for joining everyone. I found this thoroughly enjoyable. We'll just have to see what happens next time. So the next stream will be either on Saturday or Sunday. I do want to do all 3 next streams within the next weekend, but if not, then it'll be the next 2 weekends since the event does run that long. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Take care. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and yeah, I hope you continue enjoying the Nightglows reprint and keep on logging in for the campaign. See you guys. Bye bye. Just switch to this one. Peace.